Hello lovely people and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking to you about 5 tips on how to save money in your 20s. Now I want to start the video by saying that I do fully realize that not everyone is in the same situation. I know that there are people who have responsibilities like making money for their family members who they're taking care of. Maybe they have some mental health issues that they're dealing with. Maybe they have, different addiction, etc. So this is not a universal video in a sense, but I do also know that everyone, anytime, is dealing with different things. We all have issues and we're all trying to kind of be the best version of ourselves. So here are 5 tips that are going to help you save money in your 20s. Number 1 is have a budget. I cannot stress this enough. I've only started this from March this year and I can't even tell you how much it's helped me kind of visualize my earnings, my spending and my savings as well. And it has helped me to kind of see what my outgoings are and what absolutely has to go out of my account, like bills and rent, etc. and food. But then also things that I don't necessarily need, like impulse buys, etc. I use Google Sheets or Excel, or you can do that even on Microsoft Word, or if you want, do it the old-fashioned way in a notebook, or I don't know, on your phone, or wherever you feel comfortable with. But it's good to have, I would say, a few categories like food, bills, subscriptions, shopping, which is kind of essentials. Like for me it's always like period products, or shampoos or soap, or clothes if I need clothes, etc. And I always have a top kind of budget. For example, this month it was about £50, which I believe I was close to. I didn't exceed it so far, so this is great. And also putting in your income, and if you can, your savings. This is leading me to number 2, which is having an emergency fund, which is also savings. So what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a sum of money that you use when you're down on your luck, when you're out of a job, when you have an emergency in general. That's why it's called an emergency fund. And top tips for having an emergency fund is usually collecting at least 10% of your salary each month. This is not a lot of money. I know for a lot of people who, especially who work part-time jobs, it's also quite difficult to have 10% taken out of your salary every month, but it's essential, because the emergency fund should be enough to last you to up to 6 months of unemployment, of a natural disaster, I don't know, of anything. So this is absolutely essential that you actually start to work on this in your 20s and have this sum of money just sitting in your bank account and not using that money, because I'm working on that and I'm very far from my goal, but I know that I have even a little bit of money that's gonna last me right now for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months if I stretch it out, maybe 3 months if I'm being super frugal. But I know that I have this money if I need it, which is a really good safety net to fall on if you're down on your luck. Number 3 will be think before buying. I kind of talked about this in my last video, but I would say the top kind of things that you need to ask yourself before making a purchase is, do I need this? Is this an impulse buy? And the third thing would be just wait for a little bit, if you can. If this is not an absolutely kind of essential thing, if you can wait for a month on a purchase that is more expensive maybe. For example, I wanted to buy a blender a few months ago and I waited a month or 2 and I still wanted to buy a blender. So this is not really a want anymore, it's a need, because I wanted to make, even though I'm saying want, this is more like I needed this product in order to be making hummus I've been making homemade lutenica, which is a traditional Bulgarian spread, I guess. Pesto, I don't know, I can make a lot of these things that are actually going to save me money in the long haul. If you can wait for a month on a big purchase, and then you still want it or need it, then yes, absolutely buy it. Number 4 is learn how to say no. How many times have I been asked, let's go to a restaurant, let's go to the pub, let's go to a club? If not all the times, like 90% of the time, I've wanted to do that. But at the same time, I've thought, well, my budget is not really that great this month, I maybe shouldn't be spending this money. This has been a really difficult one for me to actually learn how to say no. Just say, yes, I want to, but it's a tough situation for me. I can't do it right now. I would love to do that in a few months' time when I'm actually better off with money. So be honest with your friends. If they're your friends, they will understand. If not, well, you'll find better friends next time. What you can do instead of going to a club or restaurant is, you know, entertain your friends at home. Get a takeout, which is usually cheaper than going to a restaurant. Or, even better, make a meal, cook for your friends, which is, I find, even more kind of, it brings people closer together, because I did that maybe like a couple of weeks ago, and I made some traditional Bulgarian food, I made some kind of Greek food for my friends who are also Greek, so we had like a cultural exchange through food, which was also pretty interesting, and I think it kind of brought us closer together. And it is always cheaper than going to a restaurant, and you end up actually spending a lot more time with them because you don't feel pressured by the waiter to leave, which I find really annoying sometimes. But working in that industry has told me to not judge waiters and people who serve you. Be nice to them, or don't watch my vlogs anymore. And number 5, which I would say is the most essential one, I'm sorry, but make more money. I know this is a very kind of obvious, like, duh moment, but right now you might be at a job you don't necessarily like. I mean, I was a bartender, a waitress. I've been mostly in the kind of serving sector for, I don't know, the last 7 or 8 years. I mean, I started working when I was 15 at my parents' restaurant. So I know the hustle of being a waitress or a bartender. It's not really a pleasant job. I mean, some people really enjoy it, and I really admire them for enjoying this job. I never really enjoyed it that much. But while you're at this job, which you don't necessarily like, think about what you're actually good at. Think about what are my actual skills that I can use to get a better job. If you can't think of those skills, just think of ways that you can improve on skills. Like, what would you like to do? You know, would you like to get into business, into marketing? Would you like to go into, I don't know, art or finance or engineering? Like, I don't know, there's so many different things that you can do. But think about what you're interested in, and then think about, how can I make this into a profession? And yeah, if you can improve your skills, I mean, there's tons and tons of information out there online. There's tons of free courses that you can do. I keep talking about the free courses which are available online, but during the pandemic, again, I'm saying this, there were 450 Ivy League courses that you could do completely for free through Coursera, I think. So this list, I'm going to put it in the description below again, because this is so essential that you have this available to you, because I know education is expensive. I know that not everybody can afford it, but here it is. It's free, it's online, it's, you know, you can do this anytime you can, and I don't want to hear any excuses. And the last thing I actually want to say is, a job is a job. A friend of mine recently said, you know, when you go to a shop, they don't ask you where you made that money or how you made it, they just ask you for the money. So don't think you're too good for a job, like, you know, like in the serving sector, in retail, or cleaning. I don't know, you're never too good for that. After all, money is money, and no matter how you earn it, it's yours in the end. So I would say, overcome your ego and hustle. If there are any other tips that you could think of, write them in the comments below. Maybe I didn't think of it, maybe, you know, it kind of went out of my head. So if you actually have some advice for me, I'm always welcoming that. I always like to improve. So please let me know if you can think of any other things that, you know, people could use, any other tools that people can use in order to be more financially thoughtful and to save money in their 20s. So these are the 5 tips that I would recommend using, and I hope they help you to improve on your financial knowledge and your financial kind of thoughtfulness. I will see you in the next video, which will also be some sort of financial advice. So if you would like to see that, hit that subscribe button right now, and I will see you in the next video. And for now, stay financially healthy and bye!